Welcome to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I'm your host, Sadia, and this is my mother, Ima. Hey, Ima.
Hey, my little sweetie. Yum, yum, yum.
Hey,
Doing
how's
you?
it going?
Baruch Hashem. Gotten a lot accomplished this week.
Good.
Yeah, straightening
Good.
out my, organizing the house. Yeah, so it's such a himmel gashrei.
So what's funny is that this episode will make it our 52nd episode, which would be 52 weeks, which would be an entire year since we started the podcast.
Then let me bring out my bottle of champagne.
Oh, wonderful. Here, I'll try some myself.
I don't know. One of your sisters after our last podcast put on the family WhatsApp that that's it for the gin and tonic for me when we do our podcast. I shouldn't do that anymore.
They don't need it. You don't have to listen to them. It's okay. So I have a few.
You go ahead.
So I think we've talked about this topic before, but I guess we'll go dive more into it. I guess basically being critiqued in a relationship and the pros and cons to that.
Let me see. Having either a marriage partner or a person you're dating who, how can I say it, is a big criticizing SOB. But anyway, I was thinking of a song that my mother used to sing when me and my sisters were in our dating stages. We would come home and we would tell our mother about, some guy who took us out and just spent the whole evening doing nothing but criticizing us. Like he didn't like this, didn't like that about us. Why did we do this? Why did we do that? So my mother would just say, if you don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I decided to take that line and I came up with a whole song, one of my ditties. Here we go. If you don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. If you don't like what you see, then just don't bother me. I am what I am and will always be. So if you don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree.
That's originally a song by.
It was an actual song?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought my mother just made that little line up or something.
No, it's a very old saying. If you don't like the peaches, don't shake my tree. And
it's in the song? It's put to a song?
Well, there's a song now, but it's from 1999 by Kim Lenz and the Jaguars. It's not necessarily the old 1950s thing, but I remember my science teacher. He's a really heavyset guy, and he used to go ahead and say that, like, if you don't like my peaches, don't shake my tree. And I was familiar with it. I think my other teachers were saying it. But I mean, just playing devil's advocate here. At what point is it though that like maybe somebody has a point? Like how many times will people say like, hey, you might have this issue A, B, and C, and then you're just gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna be me. I'm like, well, that's great, but you being you is kind of screwing up everything else.
That's a good point. But the thing is, what you have to be cautious about though is this person, this is a person that is a very happy person, never criticizes, and they sit you down like a good friend and say, hey, listen, I really got to clue you in on this. I like you very much, yada, yada. But there is this one thing that, you really have to straighten out. Okay, I can understand that. And then that's it. But I'm talking about some of these people who, it's actually the people that go overboard. They're really doing a form of mental abuse, you might say, where they're like, put down artists, constantly criticizing. You can never seem to do anything right, and how dare you live and breathe. And I thought of a technique that might work for some of these people. It's a form of bullying, but this would be good maybe for somebody in high school or college, or someone who is dealing with someone in the office who is really on their case constantly in an unreasonable way. Like I said, basically a bully. And if you try to argue with them and say, like, if they say something about you, like you talk too much, whatever, and you say, well, no, I don't agree with that, they'll say, oh, yes, you do. And then it's just going to be a matter of back and forth and back and forth. And you never win with these people. The only way to kind of win with these people is, and they say, people say, ignore them. Ignoring sometimes, a lot of times, especially with, in
Yeah.
school, especially in high school, doesn't work a lot of times with these people because they really they keep coming right after you.
Yeah, because that advice you gave me when I was a
that
kid, and that's
hit
the
on-
worst advice ever.
I know. I'm sorry, but I did what I thought was best, good advice at the time.
It is what it is.
But I found a good technique. Well, this is when you get older, of course, is to look at the person and then just start to laugh. And then look at them again and then crack up laughing again. And of course, they're going to be a little bit thrown off balance and wonder what you're laughing at. Say, wait a minute, what are you laughing at? And you can't. And the best thing to say is like really not to answer them directly, but to say something like, "Don't you know? Can't you figure it out?" And of course, they go, "No, I don't." It's like, and you just laugh at them and go and shake your head like, "Oh well," and say, and look at them again and say, "Well, think about it, okay?" And start giggling and walk away.
That's terrible. That sounds really, really stupid. Best thing
Why
to do
not?
is
It's a good way to get them off your back.
Because someone who's critical of you, the best thing to do with them is to just realize that they're nothing but pieces of junk. Like they're either they have a good point to take. You take the good and you get rid of the bad.
The thing is, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like when you're in a work setting and someone's being very critical of you. It's a different situation than if you're in a relationship with someone like a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's being very critical of you.
For sure, yeah.
If you're in an office setting, they're being critical because they're trying to get the job done. They want you to do a good job. They could care less about your feelings, but that doesn't mean that they don't think that you're going to do a good job. They want you to get better so they can work with you. Now they might have people might be rough around the edges, or they might have problems, with people in general. But you just take advantage of that and do what you can to listen to what they have to say and then improve on yourself. Now, in a relationship, someone's constantly criticizing you. Well, that's not your job. Your job isn't to criticize me. If there's problems in the relationship and there's issues that you need to work on, sure. But, it's the problem is that when it comes to criticism, you don't want to be the one that's going to be walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around and being like, I don't want to be a critic. I don't want to be a nudge. I don't want to be a nag. So I'm not going to say anything. And therefore you get zero communication done because the other person is just super sensitive. And no matter what you say, you're going to set them off thinking that you're the one that's just some horrible verbal abuser.
Maybe you are. I don't know.
No, exactly.
But yeah,
that's my point. Like, it's just like,
yeah, but the thing is with some of these psychological abusers, they're nobody's dummy. They can be very sly. I mean, nobody's perfect. We all have things to improve on, but they somehow have a certain sensitivity. They know just how to zero in on your weak points.
do you think people actually have their time to deal with that? Like, honestly, I'm so freaking busy every single day. I don't have time for that. Like, I highly doubt these people who do that must have a lot of time on their hands. A lot of time on their hands to make it seem so like precise and exact and just trying to get the right thing to get under your skin and trying so hard to up you and
but that's the thing with these. I was listening to a social worker once talking about this kind of people, and these people have a talent for knowing. They don't even have to work hard on it. There are certain people that have a talent for knowing just how to hurt you. And what's so sad about these people,
you punch them in the face.
What's so sad about these people, I'm talking about adults now, not 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds. You punch somebody in the face as an adult, man, you're gonna be sitting behind bars for a while. But
just like a day or two.
But I think that these people are that sensitive that they know if they've got that talent, they know just how to hurt you. If they could flip that around for the good, they could probably be the kind that would also know just how to help you.
you
They
know
just
what,
flip that around.
when those people that they say something so hurtful they're trying to hurt you, you
Oh, yeah,
realize
very,
that they're
very
dead
familiar
to
with
you and
them.
they mean nothing to you. That's how you stop it. Like, oh, you think saying that will hurt my feelings? You mean nothing to me. You're dead to me. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You are gone. You're garnished. I'm done. And that's what you do. You don't sit around and obsess with it and be like, well, maybe
Yeah.
this. Oh, well, maybe that. Oh, it's just
But yeah.
then you're
But
dead
what's
to
so
me.
but what's so sad, you have people though, somehow they know how to pick up those people who have weak personalities, who don't have a lot of self-confidence. And they know just how to play that. They're like, I guess it's a form of psychopath.
Eh,
No?
don't give
They,
him too
they
much
know
credit.
just how to
Don't make
I
him
was
sound like
listening.
some genius,
Mhm.
psycho person who's just this manipulative, crazy, behind closed door, trying to control everything. Blah, 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 blah. No one can control their own bowels, let alone being able to control anything else.
Yeah, but they don't think like that.
No, it's an illusion. Are you kidding me? You think they think they're in charge? They think they know it? No, they don't. They're isolating themselves. They're isolating themselves from everything. No one wants to be around them. They're just being mean, cruel, old, crotchety people that are gonna die alone.
Mm. Sounds like a good evaluation, yes.
It's just a basic evaluation.
The main thing though is to just keep away from those type of people. No matter how true you may think the criticisms are, if they're going overboard, then you got to avoid them.
Have your own self-esteem and self-respect that you don't hang out with those kinds of people. The problem is people have low self-esteem, they don't have respect for themselves, and they think they deserve to be treated that way. So it's not so much of the person who's being critical, it's the person who's being criticized. The person who's being criticized,
yes.
The biggest problem they have is low self-esteem.
So true. So true. It takes two to tango, man. You're right.
Yeah. Don't
I
make it
love
all
that one.
Don't blame it on somebody else so you can avoid taking responsibility for your own actions.
Yes.
It's just
Good point.
It's just from my experience.
I still like my technique. I call it revenge therapy.
It's fantastic. They're speaking of psychopaths. I think some psychopathic psychologists have thought of those ideas as well. And I was listening to this one podcast about this deranged therapist who got like totally involved in his clients' lives, that he even like got one person to not sit Shiva for her mother.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Shrink Next Door. That's the podcast. And they turned it into a TV show for Apple
What's it called?
TV. The
Ooh, I'm gonna
Shrink
watch
Next
it
Door.
sometime. The Shrink Next Door. Is that what network is that on?
I just said it's on Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah, you have to pay money for it. I don't know. There could be
Oh,
like
forget it.
other exactly.
Forget
It's really cool.
The minute I hear about something on television, I got to pay money for it. Forget it, man.
I mean, that's what growing up, like having cable TV was just like not happening. Like we never saw like MTV, we never saw any of these other channels except when we were at Ann's place where we went downstairs in the basement, bombed out in the TV there, just like watched cartoons for 3 hours straight as everyone else was socializing upstairs.
Oh yeah. By the way, I told you I've been cleaning out the house, as you know.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I came across all the old DVDs.
Oh wow.
DVDs and what is it? Those big. This is before the discs, where you put it.
Floppy disks?
No, the reel-to-reel cartridge that you put into the bottom of the television.
VHS?
Yes, I came across a whole bunch of them.
That's awesome.
VHSs, yeah, all the old cartoons, and Little Rascals, you name it, man. All the old stuff.
Did you throw them out or you kept them?
No, I did. I'm keeping them.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, because I know you're checking through everything out and going through all the stuff and whatnot. And I have my drafting board that's still there. I need to get a hold of.
Yes. I've come across a few things of other people, but I'm not throwing. I'm kind of just organizing. There's really, it's something about trying to organize, trying to figure out what like no one to hold them, no one to throw them, no one to walk away, no one to run. It's like you look at the stuff and you wonder what to keep and what to throw away.
Yeah. I
And you
mean,
just this would be the situation where years ago you threw something out and then you're watching one of these antique roadshow things and then, oh, that is from that's a Ming Dynasty, whatever. It's worth like thousands of dollars. And you go, damn, I threw that out last year.
exactly. I think it's a hoarder's nightmare watching antique roadshow. Like, oh, this was just sitting on my desk and like I didn't care anything about it. I use it as a coffee mug. Like, oh, I've been drinking from this whole time. That's like a sacrificial, cup from the Aztecs. Oh my God, how it's worth $5 billion. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Everyone's like checking all this stupid crap they have. Oh my God, we're worth something. I'm telling you. No, most of it's
Also,
junk.
I found out I was reading something. I think I came across this on YouTube or something about these reality shows that are really fake. And they talked about American Pickers was your father's favorite.
Yes.
And you watch American Pickers, man, you won't throw out a darn thing, not even a pencil. They go to the junkyard and they pick up this piece of mangled, rusted junk and they go, oh, this is a carburetor from a 1935 Studebaker. I'll give you $5,000 for it. Well, I don't know. Make it $6,000. Well, according to what I was reading, a lot of that stuff was totally faked out.
Yep. I liked watching. Also, I know Tati liked watching. Shoot. That Locker TV show about the they go to these lockers and they bid on the lockers and whatnot. Yeah,
it's abandoned. It's abandoned storage lockers.
Yeah, abandoned storage lockers. Yeah, exactly.
And people just you just take a chance on it. You pay the money and take a chance that you're going to find something of value inside.
So a lot of it's staged because it's like, it's hard to have like winners every single time you pick one locker. So they actually plant certain things in the locker and be like, oh, look what I found over here. It's a knife. It could be worth something. And then they go ahead and they check it out.
That's what I like about our podcast. None of this stuff is scripted. It's all spontaneous.
Yeah, that's why I get so many listeners.
Thank God. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Let's
Lovely.
pop the cork again.
Glug, 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 glug. That's
so what are you
fine.
I see you're drinking something. What are you drinking?
This podcast is brought to you by Blue Moon Mango Beat. Please try and sip responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, established 1995.
I like the one about sip responsibly, man.
Sip responsibly. You mean chug it immensely over and over again until your feelings are gone?
Oh, I remember, by the way, I don't know if we went over this in any of our other podcasts, but I remember in the early mid 70s, going to there was a cocktail lounge at the top of the World Trade Center, Alav Shalom.
Mm-hmm.
And in the cocktail lounge, they actually had little cards on your table warning people not to chug their drinks, because at that altitude, the alcohol can go directly to your brain and can really be very, very strong, can really knock you out. And waitresses would actually come around. If they saw people chugging, they would stop them and warn them not to chug their drinks, but to sip them slowly.
I'm going to fact check that. Drinking in high
you don't
altitude.
Trust me? I mean, I was there. I experienced this, and you don't trust my great
you do get drunk, yeah.
Something occurs to me, though. If they have those warnings in World Trade Center, how is it? Well, now they're not serving alcohol on planes too much anymore.
Yeah, they do.
But they still do. But how is it that they don't warn people like that on airplanes? Because if you can have that problem at the top of World Trade Center, then you're going to have that problem even more on an airplane.
So the bottom line, this is from the New York Times. Higher altitude can impair some abilities, but studies suggest that it does not make alcohol more potent. So you might be impaired a little bit more, but it's not going to make it more of like higher alcohol content, blah, blah, blah.
But it's just going to be able to impair you.
Impair you.
Impeach and impair. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
And that's,
but my question is, then how come they don't go around warning people on airplanes unless they purposely want to knock the passengers out?
I don't think they're going to get knocked out. You might get a little buzz and violence, and that might be even more a problem, but that's a different story.
All I
Right.
know is when your father and I took LL to Israel, thank God we were able to pay to afford business class, Baruch Hashem. And boy, did they push the alcohol in business class, the wine and everything. I got the impression that the flight attendants really wanted you to knock you out. To
Yeah,
go
they
to
want to
sleep
make sure you have a good time.
so they could sit there and do nothing the entire flight.
Yeah.
Really, they would even add, in fact, after dinner, when they would try to like encourage people to drink wine and to drink
Yeah.
more wine, they would purposely turn off the lights and go around and help you to put your seat back and get you blankets and get you comfortable.
Ooh, that's nice. All right. Well, that is our episode. Thank you, all our listeners, for an entire year of Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. And after this, we have another year to focus on Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. All right, Ima, I love you.
Hashem. Love you,
Yeah.
honey. Have a great Shabbos.
You
Mwah.
too. Thank you for listening to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. Please like and share and find us on Facebook at Jewish Boy Calls His Mother Podcast. We are looking forward to hearing from you.